Hi guys, it's Rick Shiels down here at Quest Golf Academy here at Prairie Sports Village. I'm going to be hitting the new Callaway Steelhead XR Pro irons. The XR Pro irons are an alternative to the Steelhead XRs. And when I say alternative, they've just changed it a tiny bit. They brought out the XR, Steelhead XRs not that long ago. That was the chrome, shiny golf club. A bit of a blast from the past, bringing the Steelhead back into the range, but also packing it with power of the XR. Well, they've decided they needed another version of this. And this is a darker version, the finish, which I think looks really sleek, almost stealth looking. It's a more compact version, so it's nowhere near as big, and it's got an extra degree of loft on all the irons. Needed? I'm not sure. I like the look of them a lot. I'm looking forward to hitting them. So I'm going to hit them on GC2 HMT, Real Pro V1s. Like I said, I've got 7, 5 and approach wedge. So I want to see how these work. So this 7 iron is in 31 degrees, where the Steelhead XR normal version, shiny version, is 30 degrees. Let's give this a hit. I do like, and I really do like this black finish of the club head. I think it looks really smart. The face where the grooves are is a lighter finish. And for whatever reason, I notice it more on the longer iron, but even this, the grooves seem to start a long way away from the heel. They don't get really close to the heel. So it draws your attention more to middle/toe, which for a lot of golfers can only be a good thing to get rid of these heely shots. Let's give this a hit. So the other thing they've got rid of on the Steelhead XR, there was a white line on the bottom. There is no white line. The grooves are just a blank. Let's give this a hit. I've just got this in the standard steel shaft. 31 degrees, probably going to in around the 170 mark. Carry distance is what I expect. Might just come up a little bit shorter than that because I bottomed it a smidgen. That was a bottom strike which just carried onto the front edge of the green. That was 171 carry distance, but that was a bottom strike, and you'll probably see it up on screen in a second. Spin rate was healthy, 6,500. It's not measured it as too low on the face, but for me that felt quite low on the face there. Normal clubhead speed for a 7 iron there at 91. So that's a pretty true reflection. If I can just strike that slightly sweeter on the face, I think the performance distance will come up as well. That was higher on the face, but I've just overturned that a smidgen. Felt better on the strike, but I've just turned it over a little bit to the left there. Doesn't seem to have a lot of offset, though. I'm not expecting a left shot. That was more human error than club error, which you would expect. Ball flight seems good, just a little bit left on that one. Strike location was higher, but I made the face go left on that. Let's hit a nice one. Oh, there we go. That's right in the middle. That is right in the screws. Felt lovely, that. Nice height on the ball flight. Stopping power looks pretty powerful. Very neutral flight on that one, carrying at 177. I would normally say around about this loft, I would carry this around 175. Spin rate there has dropped a little bit the more I've hit that out the middle. Decent numbers and actually quite a decent ball flight. Very high ball flight considering the loft is 31, which for me in my head still computes to a 6 iron, not a 7. But decent heights, decent flight. You see there, they're not going to make you hit the ball straight. That's down to the player itself. But giving you a little bit of forgiveness showing there from that bottom shot. The first shot felt very thin and still managed to get on the front edge. Let's go 5 iron. So 5 iron loft. Let me just check what that one is actually. I think it's 24 where normally it's 23. Just got it down here. 24 degrees of loft where the Steelhead XR iron was actually sitting in and around 23 degrees of loft. So they've added an extra degree of loft in the long irons as well. I do love this stealth look, the black finish. I think it looks really smart. But they should, for me, well, I hit this one, I'll explain. That came out good. That came out real good. It's carried longer than I wanted there. I thought I was going to get in and around 200 mark, but it's come out fast and hot. Yeah, 208 carry, just a fraction of draw in there. a little bit too much in fairness. Spin rate was 4,200. Yeah, it's just my own little drawy golf swing that's just turning that into that left corner there. Need to get back on the fade feeling. Let's hit some nice ones. That was similar to the first 7-iron where it was a fraction off the bottom and not a bad result again. That's a bottomed 5-iron that still got to 200 yards. And that wasn't sweet, that wasn't a really well hit golf shot. But it's managed to get a 194 carry for a total of 200. Spin rate just jumps up a little bit higher as you go lower on the face. You can see there it's just below the equator line. Some decent numbers considering I'm not hitting these the best I've ever hit shots. I'm actually getting some decent results out of the club still. Direction's always going to be down to my error, but forgiveness level, it can show a little bit of that in the actual numbers when I don't strike the middle. That was ripped. That was ripped, but it's just turning left top corner. Big hit again. 5-iron's coming out powerful there. It feels it as well. It feels powerful. I'm hitting it. What I do like about the 5-iron compared to the Steelhead XR, it's a much smaller head shape. It's not as oversized. It's not as chunky. I really do like the black finish. The one thing I was just going to say before is, as a consumer, and let's say if I'd bought the Steelhead XR, I'd be fuming these had come out. I'd be fuming. Because I think as a customer, when you're looking at buying clubs, you want all the options available to you right there and then. And that's a shame that. I think they should have brought these out pretty much the same time as they brought the XRs out, the Steelhead XRs. They should have brought these clubs out at the same time. Not 6 months later, because there's no reason to. They didn't need to do that. They brought them out at the same time. You're giving the golfer an option of either going chrome or dark finish. At the moment now, you're leaving the guys who've maybe bought the XRs gutted that maybe they wanted these. I think it's a bit of a nasty move, really. I'm going to go into gap wedge, approach wedge here. So AW wedge is a 50-degree wedge. It's quite a nice rounded shape. The offset pretty much vanishes now as I go into the more lofty clubs. Yeah, I like the roundness of the head shape. It doesn't look like it's going to be a super forgiving, as in it's not an oversized approach wedge. It's actually quite a nice looking approach wedge. Yeah, that feels really good. I really like the softness of the feel of the club. Now, the technology that's saying you're going to get that extra feel from is this, I'm saying it's technology, it's been around for years, and that's why they brought the Steelhead back, is this full bore technology where the shaft goes straight through the hosel and almost comes out the other end. Apparently with that all the way through, the shaft going all the way through, you actually get more response off the face. I can kind of see how that's true, but they do feel good. I think whether that's just the actual metal or the strike, but they actually feel good off the face. They don't feel hard. They actually feel like they've got a level of softness to them as well. Slightly off the bottom. That's going to have so much spin on it. Yeah. Just a little bit off the bottom on the strike. Had packed full of spin there. 50 degree, this wedge is a wedge, so a gap wedge effectively. And that had 11,000 spin, and that was just a low bottom strike that produced that amount of spin. I like the feel of them. They don't feel, certainly these wedge shots feel really nice off the face. They don't feel like a hard golf club at all. Yeah, and that feels really good. Get up there. Stop him real quick. They're zipping back a little bit there on the A wedge, which is pretty impressive. Let's have a look at some numbers. So if I pull up all of the shots that I've just hit there in the review, the 7s, the 5s and the 9s, so we can actually see the comparable numbers there. I think direction for me was a little bit off today, and that's just more me than anything. First review of the day and just got a little bit over draws in there, which was a shame to see. But actually, generally, the distances that I was getting from the shots were good. The feel I was getting from the shots were excellent. The height I was seeing was fantastic. Just a human error was just sending those balls a little bit offline. If we look at the 7-iron, the 7-iron average carry distance was 175, which at the start I said about 31 degrees. That's roughly where I get with that carry distance. That's with the 7. Spin rate was almost above the 6,000 mark, and for a strong lofted 7-iron, that's closer to where it needs to be. I traditionally like to see a 7-iron spinning nearer to 7,000, but when you include 31 degrees of loft, which is 3 degrees weaker than what I would like to see, that's going to subtract a bit of that spin off the ball as well there. 5-iron was carrying at 203, and you saw from the 5-iron shots, actually, I didn't hit them great. I didn't hit them that superb. I hit one a little bit off the bottom that landed on the green, and the other 2 were big, long, kind of overdraws slightly, but very powerful hits in fairness for a 200-yard shot. And then the A wedge was carrying on average at 118. The first one carried up there at 123, and the last one carried there at 118. Spin rate was very healthy there with the approach wedge, on average at 10,611, which is really good spin rate for an A wedge. As a set goes, if I was just to think as the set, I like them a lot as a set of irons. I love the finish. I think they look incredible in the black stealth look. The technology that's in them has benefits. I like the side of the head. But for me, just stamping Pro on it doesn't make these any better golf clubs than the XRs, Steelhead XRs. They're just like a different finish. And that's the one thing that I have to say in this review that it just grates me to death. Why did they not bring out these 2 golf clubs at the same time? They should have had the option, or at least if they brought out the Steelhead XRs in black, bring them out as just a limited edition black version, not a completely different set. These should have been exactly the same golf clubs, but one chrome, one black. Give the option, potentially. But what about the guy who bought that 3 or 4 months ago? What about the guy who bought that last week? He's going to be gutted that something like this comes out. If you've not bought anything yet, well, happy days, because it gives you an option. It gives you a chrome version or a dark finish, and that actually gives you a bit of an option. Because performance out of these 2 golf clubs, there's no difference in performance from what I'm seeing. Like I say, you'll find a degree extra strong in the normal Steelhead XR over the Steelhead XR Pro, and a slightly slimmer profile on the Pro, but not noticeably slimmer. Just very, very slight. They've just shaved off a few of the edges and put it in that dark finish. As an iron set goes, I really like them. I just don't like how they sit in relationship to their brother that wasn't out that long ago. Their older brother that really should have had options. Should have had options of going chrome or black. Guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, click thumbs up, comment below. What do you think about the Callaway Steelhead XR Pros and the relationship they have with the XR Steelhead XRs, lots of XRs and Steelheads going on here at the moment. Let us know what you think below. Are you a customer that's bought these recently? I'd love to hear what you think, because I'm sure you're the guy who would have liked this other option as well at the same time. Performance-wise, there's nothing wrong with them. They're absolutely great golf clubs. I just don't like how they've brought them out so closely in that weird way. If you've enjoyed the video, guys, do comment below, subscribe by clicking the big red button down here, and I look forward to seeing you next time. I've got loads more clubs to test today. I'm going to hit some straighter golf shots as well. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you soon.